Hey there, welcome to Pop Culture Cupid.
I'm Alison, love coach, here to help you single people find your way back to love.
And I'm Michal, I'm a single life coach. I help singles embrace themselves and their singleness, as well as develop a healthy self-relationship.
In this podcast, we will look at how pop culture impacts romance, dating, and your love life.
And each week we'll shoot another arrow through another pop culture delusion.
I thought we weren't going to do the whole cheesy thing.
And then burst into smithereens.
Oh my god, dude, that's so cringe!
Sorry, it's in the intro now.
If you make it through the chaos and you enjoy what you hear, please leave a comment, like, subscribe, and go to all the social media.
At Pop Culture Cupid on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Enjoy!
Wait, why do we have a clock?
Oh.
Recording in progress. I was going to say we have a clock counting down this time around.
Do we?
It's showing me a clock counting down instead of counting up. Not sure if it makes much of a difference, but...
I've never had a clock.
Oh, well, I don't know if it's going to cut us off. It says 54 minutes remaining.
I don't think it will cut us off. Anyway, interesting. This is very interesting.
Yes. Super.
So this is our take 2 of Love is Blind because of chaos. Because we tried something different, and sometimes change is good, and sometimes change is not so good, and that was one of the times.
Yeah, but no one can say we didn't try. So
exactly. But a good thing is that I was able to cancel my Teams thing because like it was within like the 7-day period, so I just got refunded and everything. So yeah.
Oh, good.
Technology, but that was. We tried changing it up. You tried setting up somewhere different. I tried using Teams instead of Zoom. We tried different setups.
Too many changes at once, I guess.
Chaotic.
Too many. Yeah. Maybe it was because
why
I tried
fix something that's not broken, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, there's no point.
So
it wasn't broken. It was just more expensive.
Well, more expensive. Yeah. That was the only reason, basically. But now, you know how they did this study where they put strawberries or raspberries or whatever it was in 2 different piles, and they put one price higher, but it was the same batch, and people went to the more expensive ones, and it was a study about just because it's more expensive doesn't mean it's better. And it's like, well, sometimes it is. Sometimes expensive,
it's true.
Because Zoom is something like, I think, triple the price to what Teams was.
Yeah, no, I think you get what you pay for. Yes, there's certain things that aren't worth the price, but I'm like talking within reason. You get what you pay for, you know? You're going to go to like this bazaar and buy like a, $1 shirt. You're going to need to buy that $1 shirt once a month because it's basically a throwaway shirt. So
Exactly.
Anyway, we're digressing.
As we usually do. So this is our take 2 of the most recent episodes of Love is Blind. And we're not even going to try to go over what we said last time because I don't really remember, and that would not be organic. So let's just start again.
Yes, it wouldn't. We should release that as a bonus clip for like only subscribers or something.
Yeah, we should. I don't know that it's a very qualitative episode, but I mean, the beginning.
They might enjoy our rambling.
They might. But it also, I mean, the beginning was pretty good. The beginning was alright.
It was very good. I'm like bummed out that we had a good conversation going, and it's like,
and then it just goes to hell. I mean, you freeze, and then the sound jumps, and then it's chaotic.
It just wasn't our day.
It was not.
We're here now.
We are here now.
A good excuse to speak again.
Exactly.
Another day.
Good old Sundays.
Sundays.
Which we haven't done in a while. Let me see if I can 6 couples. Sure. There we go. Our cosmopolitan must-know list of the couples. Right, so
must know.
So I mean, I don't know that it's worth going all over all of the couples, because we've got the Amy and Johnny who are just drama free.
Yeah, we've
and
said it before,
amazing.
we've said it again. They're just
and
cute,
then
adorable, and
they are
couple
they're
goals.
very good, and they're very good about talking about contraception and things like that. The
Yeah.
only thing that I would say is the whole conversation around contraception, where Johnny was like, it's all very experimental and I don't want to be like testing things out for contraception. And I'm like, excuse me, what do you mean you don't want to be testing things out? Like, I don't want to be any having undesired effects. I'm like, no, we're not doing this.
We don't want. Although to his defense, I think he meant like, you know, with the pills for men, that it's like the first time it's coming out and whatever, but like still.
Yeah, but we have like we have side effects with the pill, and anyway.
Oh, for sure. I think, no.
Think it's not worth going in the whole debate, because he's, you know, it's not that deep. It's not that deep. There is so much bigger fishes to fry, and I think they're fine. And then we've got Brittany and Ken, who ended it very wholesomely, and we went over it last time. So I think it's not worth going, you know, apart from the fact that they were missing at that small reunion. They didn't go.
Yeah, I didn't realize it till you mentioned it last time we recorded. I didn't realize that they weren't there, but they really weren't.
Yeah,
I guess who knows?
I think it's because I think they weren't there because I think it was reserved for people who were like still in the couples, and you to get to that reunion, you either had to be in a couple or bring the drama.
Yeah, that's true. I think they just wanted all the focus on those two dramatic couples.
Which I'm getting to, the one of the separated drama full couple, Jeremy and Laura.
I mean, how are we going to start with them?
I mean, no. So we've got Jeremy and Laura, Clay and AD, and Chelsea and Jimmy. And I'm happy to talk about Chelsea and Jimmy first. We did that last time, but the more I talk about it, the more I see people kind of agreeing with what we say. Chelsea is going downhill in my mind.
She is so freaking insecure, and she just keeps whining and crying about the same things again and again, and picking arguments. And I'm not saying that he's completely innocent in this whole thing, but it just seems I'm just like tired. Sorry, so many ambulances. It cut my train of thought. But she's just pushing him away. I'm surprised that he hasn't run away yet.
Yeah, I think we were talking about this in another episode, where he is remembering what happened to that guy last season, when he expressed the fact that he didn't really enjoy the fact that she was wearing a lot of makeup, and that kind of threw him. And we talked about him about, like, you know, it's a bit superficial, but fair enough, you're expressing it in a, you know, healthy way, and you can't, you know, we can't judge people for, you know, having these types of feelings. He wasn't being horrible. And I think he saw that season and is like, I can't, you know, this can't happen to me. So he's just being as how to put this, as calm and collected as possible. But
you see, this is by the way, sorry to cut you off, but this is part of my issue that I keep saying. You have a camera on you and you automatically change the way you behave and what you say and what you do, and this is part of it. You know that it's going to be live, you know what happened to other people, so you're not being completely authentic. You have to constantly be worried about saying or doing the wrong thing, which is, again, kind of another flaw in the system.
And you know, there are so many people have come up with different things of you know, we're not the same with the cameras on or off us, and you know, it's just, and with the editing as well. I mean, you've got the Matt thing that we can talk about later, but you've got, you know, you fucked her. I know you fucked her. Everything about the editing led us to believe that he had slept with Jessica.
Such teasers. Oh,
such teasers. But it
Netflix,
just
you
goes
do
to
it every
show how
single
easy.
season.
Yeah, they
Sorry.
do. Well, it just goes to show how easily people so one, you act differently in front of the cameras, and two, the editing is different. But let's not talk about the editing, because that's, otherwise there's no point of this conversation. Let's just talk about, the way they behave. And
it's just
so, yeah, I think Jimmy is acting differently because he's not acting authentically as himself as much as he could be, because he's afraid of the backlash. But Chelsea,
and he's afraid of her. I would be afraid of her reactions.
Yeah,
if I were him. I'm sure it's part of it. It's like she keeps acting hysterically every single time there's like a, and then she's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, and she tries to act all adorable. I'm like, oh, get over yourself.
Yeah. Something we had a chat with Marty Ortiz, which is going to come out after Marty. This episode. Yeah, it was great. And she talked about, don't let your past be your story. Like, you choose what defines you. And and that really resonated with this situation. Like, I understand you've got insecurities and people have betrayed you, and I get it, and things like that, and you can just kind of be on your guard, but making that so kind of drama and chaos and bad energy is just, it's not a good image. And
she's pushing him away.
She is pushing him away. And last episode we were just kind of trying to see her side, and we thought we knew what was coming in the next episode with the edit and things like that. So it was just like, okay, no smoke without fire, or whatever. You can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs. But now she's just so controlling about his friends, and you need to do this with me, and blah blah blah. And that comment of, they are the strongest couple, and the way that he was like, why would you say that? Do you not think we are a strong couple? And I have some sympathy for her, because I kind of see an old version of myself in her, of just trying so hard to play it cool, when actually you're just not feeling yourself, and you're just trying so hard. But I mean,
it's just, I felt for her this time around. I'm like, come on, you're just harping the same whiny story, and it's just we're just stuck. I said this last time, I'll say it again, they're stuck in a loop. And it's just this cycle that keeps on going, and I feel like they're just, I don't know, part of me really thinks that they're just forcing it, or they've convinced themselves that it's should work, because they don't want to give up on it. And look what they had to go through, and they had to hurt so many people to get to this point. So like, they're trying to, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, they're trying to legitimize the relationship, or to there's a word that I'm looking for that's not coming to me right now, but it's just fighting for something that isn't working, because they've convinced themselves that it should work, because look what we've been through. And
and I think again and again and again, I think in the first couple of seasons, people genuinely go on this, well, I don't know about genuinely, but I think more so than later seasons, they would have wanted to find love. Whereas here, they're just there for the experience, and maybe the social media clout and shits and giggles and things like that. And now they're getting to the point where, we have to get to the wedding and blah blah blah, and we have to make it work. And I think that some people in their mind, when they are married, when they've kind of gone through this stage of either getting married, or civil union, or moving in together, or having a child, like these big milestones, they think then that's it, we're done, and we don't, and that's that, we're safe. And that's the problem with thinking that way, of just because you've gone through this threshold and milestone and things like that, it does not mean that you do not need to put any effort anymore. Because people get divorced, people move out, people get separated after having a child, and things like that. And I think that what's happening in, you know, Jimmy and Chelsea and maybe AD and things like that of, I just need to get to the wedding and then it'll be fine. The cameras will be off and we'll be ourselves and blah, blah, blah. And that's just wrong. That's just wrong. The effort is every day, and thriving relationships and thriving couples work because it's every single day. And if you know, and it's okay to just let go for a couple of days because you've got other stuff going on, but that just means that after that you're going to have to catch up for it, and it's just all the time.
I have a feeling that Chelsea is sort of expecting a fairy tale happily ever after with her Prince Charming, and as do most Americans and people who grew up on Hollywood and rom-coms and things like that. And love is never that easy, love is never that simple, and it's never perfect. And it just seems to me that she, in general, I think in these shows, they come and they look for that perfect love and someone who's going to blow their minds, and it's just not it. So when you do find the right love, you think it isn't because you're expecting something else entirely. And so when it isn't, you know, all butterflies and rainbows and exciting stuff, and when you have to put in a bit of effort, then you give up because you want to find perfect love, which doesn't exist or isn't attainable. And I don't know, I just feel like this whole show makes them all a bit crazy. Or maybe you have to be a bit crazy to go in the show.
Well, kind of both. I've never really looked into how you sign up to this type of show, if you're the one signing up for it, like friends sign you up for it, or things like that. Oh, but Chelsea and
try
Jimmy
signing up.
I don't think, you know, I don't think that they will say yes.
No. Well, if they do say yes, it's because they've convinced themselves that it needs to work and that it should be. I think they're kind of in Delulu land right now.
Yeah, and I think if anything that this show has taught us is, just because you are married to somebody who agrees with you on marriage, it does not mean you are with the right person. Like, both wanting to get married does not make the whole relationship, because I think the premise of the show is you guys, you know, just need to get to the altar, and then, you know, you both agree on marriage, and then you just make it work. And I think a lot of people think you can make it work with anyone, and that is just wrong, because there are some fundamental differences that you need to just adapt to each other and open your mind. And, you know, so Chelsea and Jimmy, that's that toxic stuff gone. Big up to Jessica, who knew what she was doing on her Instagram. She is just, that was quality. And we talked about this last time, but obviously is nowhere online. She's handling herself so gracefully.
She is so much better than she did in the pods.
Yeah. But didn't we see something about the fact that they kind of like boozed them up? And, you know, I think something about what Matt released about the way they got treated in the pods, and a guy from the previous season about the atmosphere in the whole you know, context of the pods, where between lack of sleep and alcohol and producers and things like that, maybe, you know, it kind of messes with your mind.
I'm sure that messes with your mind, but unless someone's shoving the alcohol down your throat, I mean, I don't know, I feel like I have a hard time feeling sympathy in those cases, because I feel like we like to blame everyone else for our own choices. No one's forcing you to go on this show. No one's forcing you to drink alcohol. No one's forcing you to go on these dates. It's like, we have a hard time taking accountability for our own actions and choices, and we want to, I mean, of course I'm being a bit harsh here, but like, it just
self-awareness.
Exactly, self-awareness, people. It drives me insane when I see this, and I see it more and more these days, and so I get into this whole sorry,
but I agree with this. It's just, I feel, so I don't drink alcohol, or like very, very, very rarely, because of you know, I one day realized that I couldn't just have one or two glasses. I had to have a lot, and it just became this whole thing. So I just realized that, you know, I couldn't really handle myself around alcohol. And so I came to this realization. And I think a lot of people think that they can handle their booze and that they're fine with just a couple of glasses or 3 or 4 or whatever, but actually they're not, and they just don't realize it. And probably this is what's happening in the pods, where they have a couple of glasses and they think it's fine, and they themselves kind of, okay, this is my limit. But if you just have alcohol 2-3 glasses every night nonstop, it is going to kind of end up messing with you. And I think that's what we're seeing. But I agree. I mean, it's, you know, it's not, you know, the production's fault. Well, to an extent, it's, you know, you're the one making all these decisions. And I think Matt, for all that he is, you know, an idiot, is right on the, you know, nobody forces you to do anything. You make your own, you know, choices. And
I mean, of course, they're going to do everything they can to, you know, entice them and whatever, and put temptations. But like, what did you think you were signing up for?
Yeah.
I mean, if someone puts a bottle of wine right in front of you, knowing that, you know, it's going to make you do silly things, but you're the one who's opening the wine, pouring yourself a glass and drinking glass after glass, then I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna feel sorry for you when you start whining and blaming other people. It's just not. I think, yes, of course, there might always be someone else to blame. I just don't believe in blaming the world and its sister. I think that every person should take accountability for their own actions. And I don't know, maybe I'm just overly frustrated that we live in a world where people like to sue the floor for being crooked. Bless you.
Thank you. I cut my microphone.
Yeah, I saw. Good on you. Anyway, I don't know. It's just
I agree with that, and I will kind of give a short story of I have an ex-boyfriend. We were supposed to go and meet my best friend for a weekend, and he was supposed to come over in the morning, like Saturday morning, and then we would just drive to my best friend's for the weekend. And I didn't hear from him at all, and I was just like, oh, what's going on? And it wasn't his type to be this way. And then at some point he messages me a couple of hours after we were supposed to leave or meet up or whatever, and he says, I'm sorry, I just woke up. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, we drank too much last night, and I'm not, and you know, and I'm an hour and a half away. He's like, you know what, I'm gonna go and we'll see each other tomorrow. So I went to my best friend's, came back, and when we saw each other, he was like, I'm sorry, my friends didn't wake me up. And then they were playing whatever game it was, and like I couldn't interrupt them, and we couldn't leave, and it was their fault. And I was just like, no, you are the one that was supposed to wake up, and you were the one driving and come back. It's like, yeah, but I told them to wake me up, and it's their fault, it's not mine. I'm like, are you kidding me? Anyway, so yeah, accountability, and just, it's, you know,
yeah,
it's shit. So anyway, so moving on to I mean, we've got Clay and AD and Jeremy and Laura, whichever one. I feel like Clay and AD is a short conversation because you know, I think we spoke about this last time, of Clay has a lot of being molded because
Mr. Clay.
I think he's aware of his downfalls and his flaws, but I'm not sure. Self-awareness. We're gonna self-awareness. You do one.
Yes, we need those jingles. Sorry.
You do one. Self-awareness.
Self-awareness.
I'm gonna try and make a jingle of it. He knows where he can go wrong because of his role models and things like that. I just don't know that by the time that they get to the altar, he would have been able to just do the work on not being that way. You know, I think, you know, self-awareness isn't everything. Like, you know what you have to do, but then you have to do it, you know. And but he's halfway there. He's more than halfway there, but he's just still got a bit of journey. And so I you know, I think I saw somewhere on social media where that she was saying she felt like AD was laying the groundwork for him to cheat, of just like, you know, so that he ends up cheating and then turns around and says, I told you this was going to happen. Like, and I kind of agree with that sentiment of he is going to get to that, to being that really mature, reliable guy. I just don't think he's there yet because he's still working on it.
Yeah, I wrote down a quote that AD's mother actually said, something that she said that I really liked, but it was something along the lines of all you got to do is let him know that you're there, and he's got to do the work. And that's something that I actually like, because most of the time what people need to know, and I see this a lot in my relationship now with Zev, is like they need to know that you're there, that you're not going to be flaky, you're not going to be running away if they make a mistake. And I'm not talking about now cheating or whatever and the big stuff, but they need to know that they have your support, that you're there, and that not every tiny little thing you'll be running away. A lot of times, like with Zev, like we don't argue a lot at all, but like the few arguments that we had were because that he was afraid of my reaction, and he was afraid of pushing me away. He was afraid that I would break up with him. So he would hold it inside and wait until it blew up. And once he learned that, or we both learned, because, you know, you do this growing together, but once you learn you get to know each other, you learn how to react to one another, then you're more comfortable being yourself and growing. Like, you have more space to work on yourself, because you're not afraid that the other side is going to just up and run. You know they're there, you have their support, and you're the one who needs to do the work on yourself, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's I say this to JT of because this is yoga talk, but basically, like, here's the space for you to talk freely, and like, use the space. It's there if you need it. I'm not going to shove it on you, but this is the space, and you can use this to just speak freely, no judgment, and like no backlash from what happens in this space. And I think that's just another way of putting it, of just, you know, we've all got our flaws. And I think, you know, and I was talking to a friend about this yesterday, that kind of my flaw is that I get on my high horse of morality, and I get a bit judgmental when I feel like people are subpar. And that's, you know, one of my, you know, many flaws. But I think that's the problem of just, everybody's got these flaws, and you need to feel safe in your relationship to just, you know, own those flaws, because fundamentally I don't think you ever get over them. I think you just get to manage them and control them, but you don't really get over them. And if you're aware of your flaws, and your partner is aware of your flaws, and then there's a space to be able to just be yourself freely and help evolve, I think that's the key.
And just accepting that you're both human, and you both make mistakes, you both have growing to do, especially when coming together as a couple. It's part of just being human. And I feel like a lot of times we judge people too much for just being human, for just feeling, for just being themselves, or for having flaws and imperfections. And I think when we do that, then the issue is with us and not with them.
Yeah, completely. I could completely agree. Completely. It was just, you know, something, I think you said this, you know, but did you say this in an episode that we recorded? But anyway, of just, if you dislike something that you see about something else, it's a reflection of what you don't like about yourself. And that's just, you know, it's just so true. And it is, maybe it's cliche, maybe it's not to think that way, but to be reminded of that constantly is good. Because, you know, my sister-in-law bugs me a lot. And I think she knows this. My brother definitely knows this.
I think you've mentioned it before in the podcast as well. So.
Probably. But, you know, and then I, you know, tried to talk about it, and with a friend, I'm just like, she just gets under my skin. And it got to a point where I understood what it was about me that I didn't like, that I could see in her, which was it was humbling. And it was, about, dynamics with family and things like that. But it is, it does come down to that. And even if it takes years to realize, if something, we're not going to extrapolate with, serial killers and murderers and rapists and things like that. Come on, like let's get real. These normal people that haven't done anything fundamentally bad we're talking about here. Like, we don't need to, for the haters that want to cancel us, just people who bug you and things like that. Because even with cheating and things like that, it's in that gray area of just if you how heavily you're feeling about the cheating. Do you think you are partly to blame for this situation? Have you given up on the relationship, things like that? So it's things you want to talk about. Clay and AD, how did we get to this from Clay and AD? I don't know.
Because he has a lot of work to do on himself.
Oh yeah, a lot of work, and he's aware. And so and giving space.
But
like AD's mum and AD's mum also said his parents' his stuff is their stuff, and your parents' stuff is the parents. Like, don't make the parents' story your story. Like, you're just aware of what can happen, but don't make it a big thing. And I think that was very good. And I think we've got quality parents on this show this season.
Yeah, we do. I love AD's mother, and I love AD, so like they're my favorite at the moment. But
yeah, AD's great. I mean,
she is.
I think segue to Jeremy's mum, and who was like, "You're lucky it wasn't me you were coming home to," and AD talking to Sarah Ann. I think AD is I trust her judgment. I think she's she's got a good morals and a good way of presenting herself and speaking and things like that. And the way she spoke to Sarah Ann, I think, was very good. And it's just I love AD as well. I don't think that Clay is a good fit for her, sadly. I think
I know, I'm just really disappointed because
because
she is my favorite. I wanted it to work for her, and I'm just like, a part of me is still holding out hope, but she deserves like so much better.
But so Jeremy and Laura and Sarah Ann, in that episode, Sarah said something along the lines of, "It's my story as well, and my feelings deserve to get heard," and things like that. And I agree with that you were a part of just in your own right, you had your own story. But there's a way of doing things, of she writing a letter, writing a message, open-ended message to a man who's engaged. I think is just so tacky. There are other ways of putting it, and the way I have exactly. And I think if AD says I've seen the message and girl, it wasn't good, I trust AD's judgment. The way I would do it,
they read it out. What was someone read it out at some point?
But was it read out, or was it paraphrased?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't remember, but they I think someone read it out, but I can't remember anymore.
But I think there are ways of doing it. The way I would have done it, if I would have probably written a letter to Jeremy saying, "This is how I felt, this is how I'm feeling. I understand that you're engaged now, and in an ideal world, I'd like, for us to be friends. I understand if that's not possible. Just writing a letter and not leaving it.
But she didn't want to just be friends.
No, she did not, and that's the problem. And then I would have written to Laura saying, "Listen, Laura, obviously he chose you, and I accept that. Just know that I've sent him a letter. I'll let him decide if he wants you to read it. It's just I needed, to have my feelings heard and seen, which is, yes, you deserve to be heard and seen." It's just, it's so tacky. And then you get in the whole situation of, do you really want to be with a guy who, picks somebody else over you, and then entertains a relationship with somebody else whilst he's engaged, and then just behaves the way he does? I think people can make mistakes and second chances, but this was so poor. The way he behaved was just so.
Yeah, he's very immature.
Yeah,
I think Laura also kind of. I think she was also like, yes, on the one hand, I agreed with a lot of what she said, and I definitely agree that he was absolutely horrible to her, and he made a lot of mistakes. But she also just pushed him away with the way she was behaving towards him. I think she just let it out in the wrong way.
Yeah.
But then I'm looking at it and I'm saying it's so easy for us to sit here from the outside looking in and judge them when they're in this experiment that's so emotionally loaded, and they're going through such. It's like, imagine. I'm like, I can't even imagine what they must be going through. And I think for Sarah, she was part of the experiment. She also was saying something about it, that, you know, I was part of this too. And then Sunday gets cut off, you know, they get to go off for their honeymoon and whatever. And she's stuck behind, just getting cut off like that, and no closure, no nothing. And she's just left, you know, like Jessica, like all the others who just get, you know, so like, that's it. That's the end of the way. And I understand that that's what they signed up for, and they should, you know, it's part of it. But like, also, it's hard. Like, who in the real world copes well with rejection when it gets cut off like that? You know, when you think you're about to end up with this, like, it's hard. It really is hard. But I think they could have handled it better. It's just like the whole. He should have picked Sarah. And yeah,
it's a tough one, you know, just like, you know, we were talking about Chelsea should have picked Trevor, and, you know, he asked her the right question of just like, you know, would you have picked me if I'd asked you first? Of course she would have. Of course she would have.
Yeah, I saw the way
she would have never, she would never admit to it. I mean,
I think she got very clingy once she saw Trevor. Suddenly she was starting to like kiss, what's his name? I wanted to say Jeremy, but it's not Jeremy. Jimmy. Oh my God. She was like starting to be all clingy and cute and kitschy and whatever. I think she was eating her heart out.
Yeah. It, you know, and you know, just as we were talking about how like Jimmy and Jeremy don't really, you know, probably don't have two good looking women going after them. I think Chelsea definitely never has two men after her.
Oh yeah.
She enjoys the fact that Trevor is pining over her.
The attention.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, who wouldn't enjoy the attention of just, you know,
of course,
people you're attracted to,
love
being attracted to.
Yeah.
But it's this show, and they, you know, and they know what they're doing by, you know, bringing people in at different time, and just, you know, and the kind of reveals. I mean, let me check. So this Wednesday is going to be the weddings episode or episodes.
I have no idea. Probably. Well, there's not a lot. There are not a lot of couples left, so
there are only 3.
Yeah, but
there are only 3. Love is Blind.
I saw that there were 2 episodes left. I don't know if it's including the reunion or not, though.
So,
but
we've got 1 episode on this Wednesday, so that's going to be the weddings episode. 3 weddings.
Only 1?
Who's going to say yes? Only 1. And then we've got the reunion next week.
Oh, they're so annoying. 10 days.
They are.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think it's funny because I think their promos are more interesting and dramatic than the actual episodes. It's like teasing these dramatic events, and then it ends up being nothing.
I agree, and I think that's we've probably said this before, more like around Love Island, of the first couple of seasons, and, you know, there was a whole time where reality TV was new, but now reality TV, it's been around, I think, for 20 years. I mean, it's so ingrained in our culture that people know how, you know, how things pan out and how people are treated and reactions and things like that. So people tend to handle themselves better. And unless you're the Kardashians, who are, you know, on another level of reality TV, people kind of know and handle themselves really well. You know, we saw it on this season of Love Island, of just, you know, they knew exactly what to do and how to do it. And last couple of seasons of Love is Blind, of, you know, people handling themselves in certain ways and trying to be drama free, because they know on the one hand that drama is going to bring people to their social media presence, but it is going to bring negativity as well. And so they know how to, you know, handle themselves, which leads for drama light, let's say, reality TV. But good on them.
We still keep coming back for more. It's not as if we're going to say, oh, you're teasing us every single season, we're not going to watch the next one. We're going to watch the next one.
Yeah, because there's still drama around it, but, you know, we'll just have to see what happens next episode. Because also I think, you know, that yes, there's the drama, and I think we'd love to see the drama. I'm just getting flashbacks to like Game of Thrones episodes and things like that, but anyway, but we also enjoy seeing couples where it happens, you know, where they handle themselves well, and, you know, and healthy conversations. You know, I sent you a picture of, I think her name is Camille, and the other guy who've been together, married since season 1. Like, they're thriving.
Oh, we love
them.
Barnett, I think his name is Cameron. Oh, I love Amber and Barnett.
They're season 2. I think they're still together and growing strong. You know,
we love, and they were season 1 as well.
So, were they season 1 as well?
Yeah, Amber and Barnett. I just rewatched season 1, so I know.
Oh, you know. Okay, so she was so dramatic, but love her. I mean, you know, you love to see it. You love to see it, and so so I think we'll see what happens next week with the episode that we're definitely recording an episode after the weddings episode. I don't know that we'll record an episode after the reunion, because it never delivers.
It never delivers. It's always like, especially as they go along, they know, I feel like, again, they know what to expect, and they know how to act, and they sort of like they've seen the previous season, and they've seen the Zenobs and the Coles that, you know, react overly dramatic and then get burned and shunned, and maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it prevents people from being stupid and inventing lies.
Exactly. So tell us what you think. Who's gonna get married? Who's gonna, 1, get married, and then 2, you know, stick around? Because we're due for a later down, like, What Are They Now episode as well, aren't we? For last season, like, Where Are They Now, a couple of years later. So we're due for one of those. So let us know what you think. We'll definitely give our thoughts on all of this, and follow. Subscribe.
I was gonna say, don't forget to follow us. We need you here in the house.
Whoop, whoop.
We need to get to more of you.
Whoop, whoop.
So we can get to more of you.
Anyway. And tell us what you think in the comments.
And let us know if you want to see the unseen recorded version
before it gets chaotic at the end. So you can compare if we say similar things, or if we change our mind because we realize what we're talking shit.
Anyway,
bye.